Pappas was back in Quezon doing something while Utah was rubbing crap on his face. Okay, that's a man he's been there, done that.
Soundstripe.
Welcome into another episode of Blockbusters, a classic movie podcast where if you're like us in the midst of the days of packed movie theaters and movie stores, and this is the podcast for you. I'm your host, Caleb Suggs. Joining me are my co-host, Dakota Lowry.
What's up, everybody?
And Ernie Ferguson.
Here's your wake-up call. I'm an FBI agent.
It's a great Keanu Reeves.
Too much twang in it, though. I needed to go more surfer than twang.
Yeah. I love Keanu Reeves, but he can't do angry very well. It just sounds like he's
John Wick. He does, because guess what? He doesn't have a lot of speaking lines. The problem is when he has speaking lines, and you're like,
But John Wick's like that brooding angry though, like that. You know, like you said, it's quiet. Like it's more of like with his facial and stuff. When he's like yelling and trying to be real angry in this movie, it's like coming across as like he's whispering, but he's just whispering angrily, kind of like what you just did.
Yeah, I mean, I think John Wick. Yeah, I think I'm back. I mean, it's the same. It's the same vibe with it. You know, just be brooding and don't talk very much.
But I just tongue. You know what, Ernie? You say something. Okay. I can't speak. This week we're doing Point Break. It's my
Point Break. Yeah, Point Break with 1991 Point Break with Patrick Swayze and Keanu Reeves. And here's the problem for me, because I did see this in high school, but I also saw this after Bill and Ted and after Parenthood, where he played an airhead idiot. And whenever he went into that, start talking, all I could think of was Bill and Ted's. Like, that's so righteous. Like when he said lame-o at the FBI station, I was like, that. And so I had a hard time like separating that. Whereas Swayze, because for you two, when you think of Patrick Swayze, what's the first part that comes to your mind? I know, Caleb, what you're going to say.
Well, this movie would be the first that comes to my mind.
Over Roadhouse?
I haven't seen Roadhouse.
I thought you had. Okay.
No, I haven't. It's like one of the only Swayze movies I haven't seen.
Okay, what about you,
Roadhouse.
Dakota?
Okay, I don't think this is a fair question because I haven't seen a lot of movies.
No, but that's
the only other movie I think of Patrick Swayze in is Dirty Dancing?
Yeah, Dirty Dancing, yeah. I mean, Dirty Dancing, Ghost.
Other than this, I would say Dirty Dancing or Red Dawn. Those would be the two.
Red Dawn. Yeah.
Or the Saturday Night Live clip with him and
that's good too.
I can't remember who. Chris Farley as Chip and Dale dancers. I absolutely love Swayze as a bad guy. He, to me, in all the movies that I've seen, because he's been in, I couldn't believe how many action movies that he's been in, but to me, him as a bad guy, man, I thought it worked really, really well for me. And that's one of those things, I always thought of this as a Keanu Reeves movie. And then when I saw they shared, the byline for stars, I was like, they also played well off each other, I thought. They had really good chemistry, and Busey and Reeves had good chemistry also.
Swayze is the established star here. Now, Keanu has had his breakout role with Bill and Ted prior to this, but we come to associate Keanu Reeves with obviously John Wick, but other action movies too, like The Matrix and Speed. This was really his first action role.
Yeah.
As you said, up to this point, he'd done mostly comedies, but this was his kind of breakout into the action genre. But yeah, Swayze is first off, I mean, yeah, this is my pick, and when I started this movie, it just every time I watch this, it reminds me how much I love this. I think I told you that before we started recording. Like it's just one of those movies. Like the past couple weeks, I'm excited to do the podcast every week, but I haven't really been excited to watch the movies just because I've not been in a movie watching mood. But as soon as I turned this on, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, here we go. And by the way, this is not an older movie that my dad turned me on to. I know that's kind of the thing. Like, oh, I'm my dad's son. He introduced me to all these movies. He didn't do that. This one, in fact, first time I watched it, I was out of high school. I asked him if he wanted to watch it with me, and he said no. So he didn't.
What do you have against it?
He just decided he didn't want to watch it that night. So he didn't want to spend quality time with his son watching a movie.
Sad day for Caleb Suggs.
I know. Yeah. But no, I love Swayze in this movie, and Keanu's good too, but Swayze in particular. I don't know if this is a hot take, but I think this is Swayze's best character. Now, I'm not going to say it's his best movie because I know he's done some great movies, but I think this is his best character. The character of Bodhi is just very enigmatic. Is that how you pronounce it?
Enigmatic, yeah.
It's just you look. And hold on, I'm gonna let you talk in a minute. But I mean, obviously, you look at. Ernie, have you seen Fast and Furious, the first one?
No, but I've heard the comparisons between the two.
I mean, yeah, the first Fast and Furious is a complete carbon copy of this movie. But what you get in Vin Diesel in that movie, he's supposed to be like he's so enigmatic like that, and where the character is drawn, and he is, but I don't think he's as good as Bodhi in this. I mean, Bodhi, this character, he makes, even though you know he's going to end up being the bad guy, you want so bad for him to not end up being the bad guy because his character is that good.
Well, one of the issues with, I guess, if you're trying to make Vin Diesel the Bodhi character is he's a meathead. You cannot believe that Vin Diesel is this enlightened person. Patrick Swayze, who is a classically trained dancer, so he has all this type of stuff, and just the way he looks, I don't know if you want to call it Jesus-esque look, but the long frosted hair, the beard, and stuff like that, you can see him waxing poetically, and you can see how at the beginning of the movie he believed all the stuff that he was saying about sticking it to the man and all that kind of stuff, to where at the end of the movie he just had a death wish. And you can see that multiple times with both parachute scenes, with lighting the gas pump. He was ready to die there. Then there's a couple other parts too that I wrote down, like that he just had the vault, where they decided to break the vault, break his one rule. And then the final scene, the big catch away, bro. He just had that death wish, which was not the way he was at the beginning as this enlightened Buddhist type of spiritual type of guy who I guess obviously watches Big Ten and Pac-12 football games too to know who Johnny Utah is.
Who is it watching the Rose Bowl back then? That was back when bowl games actually meant something. Well, they obviously like football too. So surfers can't like football?
No, they're the ones that are enlightened. No, what did they remember? What did they do? They robbed banks so they could surf year round. So they should be traveling. And bro, man, I'm going to catch a wave in Mexico, man.
Well, but from June to October, they're in the US.
On TV?
Yeah, no, they don't. And who in California knows the quarterback from Ohio State 4 to 5 years beforehand?
Let me tell you who that one person would be, and that would be Caleb Suggs, because that's some random type of information he's gonna pull out. Okay,
hey, look, if some guy scores 4 touchdowns or whatever to beat my team in a bowl game, I'm probably gonna remember who he is. Let's be honest here. I don't know how big UFC. I don't know how big USC fans that Bodie and his crew were, but isn't that who they said that they beat?
Yeah, they beat USC. Yeah.
USC in the Rose Bowl. But Dakota, I'm glad you're here. I forgot you were here.
No, this is the first time I've ever seen this movie, but I read this.
You know what? Okay, first merch after Nino Brown. Something with Nino Brown is this is the first time I've seen this movie. We need merch that says that. for Dakota.
Yeah.
That would be
I mean,
perfect.
honestly,
Oh yeah, with like it's like in quotes, and then it has the line that says Dakota. There we go.
we need to put a little sticker on the movie posters when we post it. Dakota's first time.
All tens of our listeners are going to be lined up to buy this merch.
Flabbergasted, absolutely. Let me tell you. No, I read this before I watched the movie. I read this this post about this, and I pulled it back up. But it says this movie really does have everything. It's a 1-part cop film, 1-part high-speed heist film, 1-part epic adventure, 1-part bromance. You want action, daring stunts, tons of them. Love story, you got it. Drama, you betcha. It's man versus man, man versus nature, man versus the system, man versus himself. Point Break has it all. And even Keanu's occasional overreacting absolutely works and brings joy. And Swayze's performance was one where I can't imagine anyone else playing Bodhi. No. And I read that before I watched this because I really just thought it was like a kind of a cop film with surfers in it. And watching this, it really does make sense now because you really do have it all. You know, you have the typical where Bodhi's like, hey man, you've got the look, you've got the thing in you that could, you know, ride waves out here. But then you have like the thrill seeking side of it. You have him fighting the system and his whole speech about them fighting the system and them, you know, robbing banks for the human spirit. And, you know, like you really do get just a little bit of everything in this movie. And I thought it was really cool.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of the beginning of that extreme thrill-seeking culture, and maybe Ernie can speak more to this, you know, having grown up in this time period. But I really think that was something that came into the '90s, especially with the X Games and stuff later on and into the '90s. Now, of course, extreme sports back in the '90s is probably a little bit different than it is now. The stuff that they're doing now is a little bit more crazy, whereas, you know, maybe jumping out of an airplane back then was considered, you know, thrill seeking. Now it's jumping out with a wingsuit and flying through caverns or jumping out without parachutes, which, I mean, we do get that in this movie, but I mean, but still, I would think that this movie was kind of at I don't want to say groundbreaking, but kind of at the forefront of a culture that would come later.
Yeah. You see a lot of the culture at this point in time starts to turn, and again, culture you can see in the suburbs, and that is like the shirt that Gary Busey wore. I think is when Keanu had the surfboard, or one of the times he was wearing the shirt that was like blue. It was swirlies and stuff. It's when they ended up going to the beach, and he was plucking hair off somebody.
Yeah,
that was a shirt. That was a shirt that I remember people wearing when I was in high school, and so late '80s, early '90s. Surfer culture and skateboard culture really started to push into the mainstream, and also like parachuting, bungee cord jumping, that type of stuff was really kind of pushing into the mainstream also. And so, I mean, you definitely could see this. It definitely hit that aspect of culture at that time because people, I mean, like I said, Jimmy Z was a surfboard brand or clothing, and I can remember I had that. Did Ernie Ferguson ever get on a surfboard? No. I try it once? Yes, but I tried in Galveston, Texas. You know how many waves are in Galveston, Texas? None. Do you know when they go to Galveston to get waves? When a hurricane's coming. That's when people go to catch waves. And when a hurricane's in the Gulf, that's when the idiots decide to go down to Galveston, Texas, in the ugliest, muddiest brown water you've ever seen in your entire life to try to surf. And I'm
did you have sex wax?
No, I had somebody's board. I just jumped on. But I'll tell you what, that's the first wax I knew of, because there was a friend of mine that did. He went surfing all the time, and that's what wax he used for his boards was sex wax. That is actually a brand. Go figure for the surfer mentality. So.
Well, Point Break is a 1991 American action film directed by Catherine Bigelow and written by W. Peter Liff. It stars Patrick Swayze, Keanu Reeves, Lori Petty, and Gary Busey. The title refers to the surfing term point break, where a wave breaks as it hits a point of land jutting out from the coastline. The film features Reeves as an undercover FBI agent who is tasked with investigating the identities of a group of bank robbers while he develops a complex relationship with the group's leader. Development of Point Break began in 1986 when the script was wrote in initial treatment for the film. Bigelow soon developed the script with her husband James Cameron, and filming took place 4 years later. It was shot across the western coast of the continental United States and was budgeted at $24 million. Point Break opened to generally positive reviews, with critics praising the chemistry between Reeves and Swayze. During its theatrical run, it grossed over $83.5 million and has since gained a cult following. A remake was released in 2005 that is god-awful. Do not watch the remake. Unless you just want, I guess the cinematography in it is good, but unless you just want a movie that's just an extreme sports montage, don't. If you want good acting and plot, don't go watch Point Break remake.
Get off my lawn. Get off my lawn.
But I mean, like I mentioned last week when you talk about them remastering movies, the cinematography in this movie really wasn't that bad, though.
No, it was great. That was going to be my next point. I mean, it opens up with that beautiful shot of the waves, and this is 1991. I mean, now you have the GoPros and stuff. Getting out in the ocean, getting shots like that is in 1991 was pretty difficult. And this was this Bigelow's first big movie. I know she's done some other big action movies since, but I can't think of anything she was doing beforehand. Of course, I mean,
no, she did a few before this.
No, Blue Steel would probably be the biggest one with Jamie Lee Curtis. Before that,
Point Break was, didn't she?
Yeah, Point Break was. No, she directed it also. Point Break is her fourth film. Yeah. So,
no, but she does a good job of this, and she's done some good action movies since then. I'm sure James Cameron helped a little bit. They were married at the time. That was before he took a swipe at Linda Hamilton that ended their marriage. But it is what it is.
Bringing the tea out.
Yeah.
But yeah, this. I think I mentioned it off mic though. But this is a prime time for Swayze, because you have during this time, he's done. I think in '84 was Red Dawn, or '86. He had Next of Kin, Dirty Dancing, Ghost. So he was hit in the prime. You also had Busey, Lethal Weapon, Predator 2, Point Break, Under Siege, The Firm. Lori Petty was in Point Break, then followed that up with League of Their Own, Free Willy, and Poetic Justice. Then Keanu finds his way to. He's had I don't know how many renaissance with his career where he disappeared, show up, disappear. But that's just kind of the enigmatic word of the day personality that he is. So I thought it was really good. And then we can't forget the introduction of Dr. Cox from the TV show Scrubs, John C. McGinley, which was Dr. Cox shows up in 1991 before he shows up in 2001 in the TV show Scrubs.
He's going 90-0 the entire time. He is fast talking, and he does a great job doing it with some of the stuff he says. That dumb, what is it? Dumb,
young, dumb, and full of
cup. Yeah. This is the police chief.
Yes, or the FBI head of the FBI guy.
He does that. I believe in everything that I've seen him in. He's like that. Even he plays a recurring character in Brooklyn Nine-Nine that he's like that in. That he's the exact same way. Just every time he's on screen, he's wide open, 90-0, just yelling about whatever it is that he's going on about. He does a really good job at playing that.
I was waiting for him to call him Sally, like he does on Scrubs all the time. All right, Sally. But then, like I said, Gary Busey in this movie. This is the first time where I can remember Busey starting to be unhinged. Gary Busey, like Gary Busey in Lethal Weapon, he was stone faced. He was like serial killer type of mentality. He wasn't this, telling his partner that that they're gonna vanish like a virgin on prom night.
Just type of line. Cut in a little bit. I mean, when I went back and watched Lethal Weapon not too long ago, and I completely forgot that. Like I knew the bad guy in my head because I knew they have that fight at the end, but I completely forgot it was Busey because I associate Busey with this movie, and he's nothing like.
No, he's
in Lethal Weapon.
Yeah, it's a completely different persona there. I mean, like just absolutely. Well, I guess he couldn't be the mouth because Mel Gibson was the mouth in Lethal Weapon, so he had to play the straight, bad guy. Whereas this one, what he asked him, he said, 2 meatball sandwiches, 2 meatball sandwiches. Just crazy
I've
stuff.
Never
like
identified with a character more though than in that scene, because it's not. I mean, that's just something like he sticks his head out the window after he's done told him twice, and he's like, Utah, give me 2. Like, I understand. Like, make sure you give me 2. Don't come back with 1. And then he comes back with 2, and he's like, man, I should have had you give me 3 of these.
Yeah.
I understand.
But one thing I like how they started the movie with the surfing scene, and then also, I mean, they started with Utah in rain and Bodie surfing, and they end the movie with Utah in rain and Bodie surfing. So you can get deep and philosophical or whatever, but I thought that was a good choice.
Well,
also,
we're gonna get English teacher looking at the symbolism here.
Symbolism. Well, I mean, go figure. The way Bodie talks and stuff like that. I mean, we got to talk about onomatopoeias and stuff like that. Bam.
Are you saying that you could see Bodie being an English teacher?
Heck yeah. Smoking some peyote with his class. He's probably more of a philosophy teacher than an English teacher, though.
Yeah, this is more of the Dead Poet Society type of Robin Williams type of character. That's more of what it reminded me of. It's just he tends to surf and rob banks instead of teach kids at an all-boys prep school.
I mean, he does preach from the Church of Bodhi, so I mean, I think that he may be more cult leader than anything else.
Yeah,
he's probably one step away from cult leader, especially since what he talked about. I can't remember, not Roach, the guy who had Tyler held. He held the knife up to Tyler.
Rosie.
Rosie, and said that he will do basically anything that he says. So so I guess maybe Bodhi was a cult leader.
The dialogue he goes with, it is not normal. Even when he's talking about Rosie, he's like, I could never do that to Tyler, but Rosie's a mechanism. Like, I never heard somebody be called a mechanism before.
Yeah,
I mean, but that's just like the dialogue he has in the movie. It's very deep and it's well written for an action movie.
Yeah,
it's pretty well written.
To me, again, there were 2 type of surfers that I thought about. One was the Bill and Ted, go gnarly, catch the waves, and the other one is this deep philosophical person. I mean, even the kid that sold Johnny Utah the surfboard, he was very philosophical. So it makes sense that you get that type of spiritual type of thing, because that was very weird. Are you saying
that there's a group of surfers that are only out there for the thrill? They don't get the spiritual side of it?
Well, that is the thrill. That is
You're
the spiritual
just repeating Bodhi from the movie.
I would like to say that my memory was that good, but it ain't. But you have the stark contrast between Bodhi and his group and the surf Nazis. I mean, when you have Anthony Kiedis, the lead singer from the Red Hot Chili Peppers, in your surf Nazi gang who shoots himself in the foot, is that who
that was?
Yes, that was Anthony Kiedis from.
Dang, I didn't realize that.
Give it away now.
Well, former Ohio State quarterback and rookie FBI agent Johnny Utah assists senior agent Angelo Pappas in investigating a string of bank robberies by the ex-presidents. Robbers who wear rubber masks of former presidents Ronald Reagan, Jimmy Carter, Richard Nixon, and LBJ, Lyndon B. Johnson, rather than robbing the bank. They demand only the cash the tellers have in their drawers, which is gone within 90 seconds. So the movie, as Ernie said, opens up with a beautiful surfing shot, and then we go into the rain with, I don't know why Keanu Reeves would be wearing a very tight black shirt in the rain doing this, but it makes for a great shot, especially if you're trying to introduce this Keanu Reeves character as more of an action star as opposed to the Bill and Ted type character he's played before this. Quick question.
Yeah.
I know it's 1991, so it's different. But if you had a former Ohio State quarterback who obviously is popular enough that, like you said, these surf heads who live in California know who he is that the guy you want to send undercover?
Well,
imagine. Can you imagine if you?
Here's the one thing.
No, hold on for a second. I want to think about it present day. Imagine if Arch Manning doesn't work out at Texas and goes to be an FBI agent and then tries to go undercover. That just makes me chuckle.
So here's the thing. So this was 1991. If he was the quarterback in 1988, Ohio State was 4-6-1 at that point in time. So he wasn't that good. But but at first I was very skeptical about why isn't he changing his name? Well, I mean, do you think Johnny Utah is going to be an FBI agent? I mean, he's a football player, and it to me, the whole entire story, and I had to come around to this thinking, and I'm still not sure I agree with it, but my life was going in this one direction. My knee injury ruined it, so I went into lawyering, and I don't have the same spirituality that I got from, and that's the wrong word, but we'll run with that I got from football. So I'm out here on the West Coast. Surfing seems about as spiritual as I possibly can, you know. So I kind of I was kind of like, okay, maybe. I mean, because it's not like you can get online and Google Johnny Utah in 1991 and say, oh, he went to law school. Because that didn't exist. So you couldn't do that. So you'd actually have to go through the, papers to do that. The more egregious thing that I saw of all this was him just, laying his FBI credentials around his house when he's banging his girlfriend and she finds it and his gun. I mean, we can make a debate of how good of a FBI policeman that Johnny Utah actually was, because when you get beat up by a naked chick that's coming out of the shower, are you really a good FBI agent?
Man, that chick is loyal though.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Look, I'm gonna be honest. If you're gonna come out of the shower naked and beat up the feds, I don't know how many women are gonna be doing that.
Oh, she was feral. I mean, the other one was just talking and used as a human shield. That chick came out swinging. And again, did Johnny Utah beat anybody up other than Anthony Kiedis?
Well, I mean, even in that scene though, like in his defense though, even immediately after that, Gary Busey's character comes up to him, Pappas comes up to him and tells him, "Hey, like, oh, that was your first time in one of these situations, wasn't it? Like that was the first time you ever had to be in one of these situations." So, I mean, he was like a deer in headlights. He didn't really know what to do,
Well, yeah, but he got his butt kicked at the beach also until Buddy came up too.
Yeah,
it was outnumbered. Guys, it was outnumbered at that point. You're not gonna. Come on now. That's 4 against 1. He's
beat him up every
Johnny
time.
Utah, not John Wick.
That's what he should have been. He's more like Bill and Ted with a badge is what he's like. Bruh, are you coming at me? Don't do that, man. That's not righteous at all.
I'll tell you the more unbelievable thing that past everything that you said, the more unbelievable thing is that this all-star quarterback in college had good enough grades to go to law school.
Hey, now.
Hey, you're gonna tell me that it's 1991 and there's a college football quarterback who isn't getting by on just the fact that he's a quarterback in school?
Yes, not me.
A quarterback?
I can tell you've never sat in front of a playbook before. To see what
playbooks are pretty complicated.
Because you have.
I'm not saying the playbooks aren't complicated, but
now if you're talking about a wide receiver or a defensive lineman.
Yeah, I see that. But a quarterback, yeah.
Okay, so here's the other thing is Johnny Utah is a drop back quarterback. So that means he has to know what the pass protection is. Here we go. You've got me going now. He's got to know what everybody's running. He's got to be able to make the running back go to which way to block. Then he's got to be able to read the defense, got to be able to read blitz. So you have to have some intelligence to go there. It's not like it's not like we're just handing the ball off and just saying run.
I didn't say he wasn't intelligent, but I just a lot of, and I'm not trying to stereotype here, but you're not going to tell me.
Sounds like you're stereotyping.
This is band. This is a band guy hates what you're doing.
Yeah,
I'm not saying he isn't intelligent.
You're bringing your band bias into this.
I am not. No, I'm not.
Because the one thing I hate is one, the dumb jock stereotype, and two,
I'm not saying he's
hold on. Let me get to number 2. And number 2 is the dumb jocks that fall into that stereotype. I hate that more than number 1. And number 3 is coaches who are teachers that refuse to teach. That may be number 1 there. So that's my soapbox there. Let's go on to to the biggest problem, the person that was probably let down the most by this, President Gerald Ford. Are you kidding me? Reagan, Carter, no Ford. They skip Ford. They go to Nixon and they go to LBJ. What no Ford?
I would skip Ford too. Who wants a Gerald Ford mask?
Let Rosie be Ford. I mean, let Rosie be Ford. He's not. He's just
Rosie's not even. Rosie's not part of the.
That's why you give it. That's why you give it to Rosie. Rosie, I can see Rosie. I'll get a mask. Okay, Rosie, here you get Gerald Ford. Okay, thank you.
No, I would skip Gerald. Okay, Gerald Ford. He was never even nominated president. So I mean, no, I would skip Gerald Ford too. But no, I mean, you make a good point. Let's go to the robbery, which I love the fact that they do this with the ex presidents. It's not just hey, we're wearing black mask or whatever. It's actually because again, like you said earlier, there gets that system type thing, so it goes along with what they're doing. The ex presidents, they steal our money, so we're stealing the government's money or the bank's money or whatever. And not only that, but they also try to emulate the presidents that they are.
Yes,
like with Nixon with doing the peace symbols, that he does and stuff like that. They did that. That was pretty good. That was a nice touch too. And it was them calling each other, Dick and LBJ and stuff like that. I mean, it was pretty cool. I mean, they could have easily, like I said, gone with just, hey, we're just wearing regular masks. But the fact that they went with something that goes along with their thinking was a nice touch.
And Swayze slipped into a Reagan voice also while they were there too. So yeah, I did like that too. I like a theme of bank robbers, like the Dark Knight, where they all have the clown faces and stuff like that. That's just one of those cool things that I think that when people do that for movies, I think that's pretty cool. And I like that they had the ex-presidents too.
Yeah, I could see a lot of inspiration in the movie Baby Driver in this, where it's just in and out real quick, get the quick cash and move on to the next thing, But I tell you, even throughout this whole movie, the action sequences are done really well. Even just from the bank scenes to the car chases, even the chase between Utah and Bodie, all the action scenes were really done really well here and really put together. I mean, it really kept me intrigued and then on the edge of my seat wanting to watch.
That's one thing I miss about movies today, or about movies nowadays, is that like the blood packets that explode and stuff like that. It doesn't. You don't have to. I don't have to have. Yeah, I like that because I don't have to sit there and worry about bones hanging out or an eye being mangled or something like that. It doesn't have to be gore to be effective. So I mean, that's one thing I kind of liked about it is that.
I see what you're saying now. I thought you were talking about when they took out the dye packet, that was in the money.
Oh, no. I'm talking about like the special effects type of things.
Yeah,
like,
okay.
In a movie today, the scene with Keanu and whatever the big juiced up Nazi surfer in the lawnmower, the dude's hand probably would have been in the lawnmower blade. Yeah. Just because. And for no reason. I mean, that's one of those things that I think the problem I have with a lot of movies nowadays, whether it's comedy or whether it's just an action movie, is that they depend too much on either jump scare or depend too much on gore or just kind of grossing you out or slapstick and don't let the story tell. And that's why, to me, the story went fairly well with this movie. It didn't need all that type of stuff, to be able to jump there. So I don't know how Dakota, I don't know how you feel about movies today and stuff like that.
No, I agree. The gore is too much, but I like the way that they did this with like you mentioned, the little blood packets and everything. That it leaves more to the imagination than it does anything. And it, I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to think here, but it just. There's a lot of, it's like you said with the whole lawnmower scene. I was honestly, and it's just probably coming from me watching too many movies nowadays. I was waiting for Keanu Reeves, nose or chin or some face or something to end up in that lawnmower blade.
Yeah,
and I'm very appreciative that it isn't. but it just like I said, I think it adds a little bit more into the action sequences when it doesn't do that. When it
Yeah.
doesn't add a bunch of unnecessary stuff like that. Uh,
So for you being a Second Amendmenter, I was thinking about this: the gun choices of the ex-presidents. One, did you notice them? And two, do you agree with them?
I'll be honest, I didn't pay that much attention to them. I know that a couple of them had shotguns, a couple of them had
So like
revolvers.
Bodie had the hand cannon, the one that looked like Bozo
Yeah.
the Clown pull out with the barrel. They had the
Yeah.
shotgun. I think there was a sawed-off shotgun, and then there was the like 9mm or a handgun, for lack of my knowledge. I'm thinking, why do I want a hand cannon? I want something that can squeeze off a whole bunch of rounds or that can spray.
Yeah.
That's me not knowing guns or anything like that. I'd probably have blow darts with me instead, just like that. So
No, you don't. Well, I think their choice of weapons is more of a. It's like Brody said later on in the movie, it's more of a scare tactic.
Okay.
It's less of a because they're not going in here to kill people. They're not going in here to injure anybody.
Yeah.
They're literally it's like he said. If you can make them piss in their pants, if you can get them scared, then you can get them to do what you want them to do. He said that's all that's the only goal they were going for.
That makes sense because Bodie's big old gun that he had, I was like, that makes no sense to carry that big old howitzer with you like that.
No, it's like it's like the old, old bank robbing movies or cowboy movies or whatever. You want the Tommy guns, you want the full autos, or you want a shotgun, point and pray. That's really what they would realistically want, but. I don't think that we're going for that.
I come to this podcast for your Second Amendment content, and you weren't even paying attention. I'm spoon feeding you content, and I'm like womp womp womp.
I'll be honest with you. I think a lot of times when I'm looking into some situations, I get upset about it because you've got the pistols that are firing off 45 rounds without reloading or things like that. But one of the things I will say about Keanu Reeves is a very skilled marksman, like in real life, so he, I don't know. I haven't looked into much for this movie, but I know that he does a lot of, especially for the John Wick movie, he does a lot of actual on the range training and things like that. But there wasn't a lot that I noticed that didn't make sense in it. Even I liked in the didn't he jump into the ditch and he had to reload before he got into the ditch or something like that to shoot Bodie in the back, and because the magazine was empty, then he fires off 7 rounds. But I did kind of question him firing off those 7 rounds into the sky because
I'm like
what goes up has to come down somewhere. You just fired off in a very large city.
Well, even though you didn't critique the weapons, I will not let you down. I do have some opinions about the football scene when we get to that. So,
oh yeah.
Well, pursuing Pappas's theory that the criminals are surfers, Utah infiltrates the surfing community. He fabricates a family tragedy to persuade orphan surfer and restaurant waitress Tyler to teach him to surf after she saves him from drowning during his first attempt. Through her, he meets Bodie, Tyler's ex-boyfriend, and the leader of a gang of surfers consisting of Roach, Gromit, and Nathaniel. The group is wary of Utah, but they accept him when Bodie recalls how a knee injury derailed Utah's football prospects. As he masters surfing, Utah finds himself drawn to the surfers' adrenaline-charged lifestyle, Bodie's philosophies, and Tyler. We'll let Ernie get to his football misgivings here in a minute, but first I want to get into, again, I know it's 1991, so it's not like if you tried it today with social media and stuff, but you're telling me that his grand plan is to track down a person that saved him while he tried to surf and tell her a story that's basically what her life is. So she's sitting there like, okay, so
relatable.
What is the coincidence that this random guy that I saved has now found where I work and he just happens to have his parents died just like my parents died? Come on now. You're not telling me that you're not going to be like, okay, that's not going to strike some red flag in you that just this random guy you saved just happened to track you down and his parents just happen to be dead just like yours.
I also love how now look, Pappas, he called this from the beginning of the movie. He 100% called where the crime ring was at the beginning of the movie. Said, "Hey, they're surfers. Like I just don't know where they're at, but they're all surfers, and this is what they're doing. They're only here from these months, and then they leave the area." Like he called the whole thing from the beginning of the movie.
Well,
But
you know why they don't listen to him? Because he's in the office with a bottle of Jack Daniels and he's downing it in the middle of the office while his new partner has beer that he's drinking. I'm like,
oh
you're
yeah,
at the,
yeah.
you're at the FBI. You want people to take you seriously? Oh, let me go get this JD bottle and just go. Hey, I'm
They'll
serious.
He's been there 22 years. He can't put up with the bull crap anymore. He's got to put on a blindfold and go get 2 bricks off the bottom of the pool. When has that ever helped him?
It sounds like he should have joined Bodie, getting tired of the man and the system and stuff like that. Just because you have Dr. Cox that's just yelling at him all the time.
Yeah, but and I also love how Pappas looks at Utah and says, "Hey, man, they're surfers," and so he's just like, "You know what? I'm just going to go out here and attempt to surf and just hope that I meet somebody that just happened to meet the bad guys out here, or happened to meet the bank robbers out here."
He said, "It's either me or you getting on that surfboard."
The first when they said surfers and the tan, I was like, okay, come on. But then what I did like is when they brought in the robberies taking place in these 4 months, and then disappeared.
And the wax.
Yeah, and the wax too. So there wasn't just the tan line that wasn't seen. Wasn't seen the first time they saw the surveillance films, and it wasn't seen in the movie when they shot. But all of a sudden, the shirt was pulled up far enough where you could see the tan line.
Yeah, they do a good job giving enough details to where you believe it, but it also makes you wonder, okay, this is a lot of evidence. Why is he getting laughed at?
Exactly.
It kind of makes sense.
Because he's drinking Jack Daniels in the middle in the building. See, that's where you go. You take Johnny Utah back to your place, and I've got this cork board. Like the guy from It's Sunny in Philadelphia, where he's explaining all the conspiracies. That's what Busey has at home.
Yeah, and then
next
he jumps up
next to 3 meatball sandwiches.
Then he jumps up on the table. They rob the banks to finance their endless summer. But no, Ernie, the football scene. You have misgivings?
Yes, I have misgivings. One, nobody ever gets under center in a pickup football game. One, nobody.
Hey, it's California, man.
No. They're Air Coryell. They are in the shotgun 24. If they've watched Johnny Utah on TV, they ain't under center. They're in shotgun. But 2, Keanu's throwing has gotten a lot better by the time he does the replacements. Because the throwing ability, I was like, no. 3
like they kind of cut it out a little bit so you don't get the full motion.
Yeah. 3, you can. One girl ain't playing touch football. I'm sorry. I don't care. There's going to be other girls playing tag football unless one of these idiots are just going to clobber her.
There was another girl playing with them.
There was. I don't remember seeing her. But then
it was very dark. It was a very dark scene.
But then the last thing is, you're telling me a former quarterback is going to take the right pursuit angle and run through all these blockers.
The entire team tried to block him.
The entire team to then tackle to get to Bodie. I'm sorry. Bodie should already have been doing the I don't know, the Pee Wee Shuffle or something like that, or doing the gritty in the end zone.
He could have been a dual threat, or he could have been a 2-way star. You don't know.
No, he wasn't.
You don't know what Johnny Utah was.
No, watching him
Johnny
run,
Utah
he ain't no 2-star. Yeah, he's a drop back. He is a He's a wannabe Peyton Manning drop back passer. I'm gonna step 1, 2, 3, throw the ball because I can't escape the pocket.
Johnny Utah had his number 9, which, by the way, he did wear number 9 for Ohio State. That's how much of a fan of this movie I am. He had his number 9 retired.
Johnny Utah did?
Yep. Uh-huh. By 1991, he'd only been out of football a few years. It's already retired at this point. That's how good he was.
Good Lord.
Right.
That's awful.
Who's the Colorado quarterback?
Sanders.
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't retire his number or something.
Yes, and
Yes, they
they
did.
have other Heisman Trophy winners that they've yet to retire, but they retire. No, I'm not going to get on this. I can go too long on that. Following a clue retrieved by analyzing toxins found in the hair of one of the bank robbers, Utah and Pappas lead an FBI raid on another gang of surfers, resulting in the deaths of 2 of them, as well as one of the agents who is stabbed to death. The raid inadvertently ruins a DEA undercover operation, as those surfers were wanted for separate charges regarding drug dealing, and they are determined not to be the ex-presidents. Man, they go to this raid very quickly.
They do.
They follow them. They follow them home and do a stakeout, and then they do a raid the very next morning. It seems to.
We got to get things done in a month. Like Johnny Utah learned to surf in 2 weeks. So I mean,
this movie moves at a brisk pace, which again is a good thing at times. But at the same time, it's like, okay, shouldn't we have done some police work here? And maybe if they had done a little police work, they would have known that a DEA agent was undercover with this. And
which is really
that comes up, doesn't it? Where the chief looks at him as like, hey.
Which, I mean, at the same time, I get a little upset that they're getting so mad at him because not knowing that this, but it's like because I understand they probably should have done a little bit more detective work, but at the same time, the chief was the one that pushed through the warrant and pushed through the raid. I mean, that doesn't happen without his approval.
No, it doesn't. That was one of the things that really got on my nerves was how, which I mean, don't get me wrong, I could kind of understand him being mad at Utah for kind of jumping the gun on it, just being like, hey, like maybe we should have. Which I mean, you've got to take, you've got this Utah's this young FBI agent who's assumably just starting in the FBI, and really it seems to just starting in the police force at all. And then, he comes and kind of jumps the gun on this, and the guy thinks he's really got him. I mean, it's a big case for him, but
then again, maybe that's part of why they're jumping the gun so much because, I mean, at this point they had robbed, what did they say, 30 banks or something like that?
It was like 28 or 29 at this point. It was 30 later.
So, I mean, they've been terrorizing, and obviously be getting away with it. So maybe that's part of what we're supposed to be looking into, looking deeper into. That's why they're jumping the gun. But at the same time, I will say the raid scene is great action.
Oh, yeah.
Which I thought, that was a really good scene too, and I love the Tom Sizemore part too, the cameo where he's the DEA agent.
Now he looks like a guy that should be undercover. He looks like a guy that you would.
He's
not a former Ohio State quarterback that looks like a model
that always wears jeans, even though you're trying to be a surfer. But
he went skydiving in jeans and cowboy boots later in this movie,
and he wondered why his knees busted up. But yeah, but that was I like the he peeks in the window with his little dentist mirror on the extender, and he sees the guy pouring beer in the Cheerios, which I mean that's a classic meth head trick, I think. So but then again you go again seeing this is where Utah gets his butt kicked by the naked girl. And then the War Child almost slices
I love that name, War Child.
War Child. Good Lord, that's awful. And then again, Anthony Kiedis. Just again for me, which this is right before Blood, Sex, Sugar Magic album. So this is before he really blows up, and he's sitting up there and he's screaming, he shoots his foot. And even at the very end when they're cleaning up the scene, he's still yelling and screaming about shooting his foot and things of that nature. That was... To
be fair, I probably would too if I shot my foot.
Oh, no doubt.
Especially the way he shot. It looks like it hurt.
Yes.
they were pulling out some high profile weaponry to go back to all the gun talk. I mean, Utah says it, they're bringing out a freaking arsenal. I mean, they
absolutely did, yeah.
And Busey must have a really great shot because he shot the engine on that reel mower with Utah's face being by almost at the reels. So he must really he was either going to put Utah out of his misery or he was going to blow up that engine. So
look, he also domed the dude while he was holding the knife to her.
Bro, Pappas was back in Quezon doing something while Utah was rubbing crap on his face. Okay, that's a man he's been there, done that.
Oh, that's a great line.
I tell you what, one of the things that I really did like though, and I don't know why this really stood out to me, but every time you have this bank robber scene, all four of the bank robbers are putting on suits and ties and dressing up and doing this whole thing. But then you have, Pappas and Utah over here who the entire scene, typically when you have FBI agents that are portrayed in movies, and even the other FBI agents that are portrayed in this movie have the black suit with the white shirt and the black tie. But these two agents, the entire movie are shown in like jeans and a t-shirt, and I don't really know why that necessarily is.
They were in suits sometimes, like when they were at the office and when they were doing after the first bank robbery scene in the movie, they come in and they're wearing suits.
But Pappas never wore a tie. He always had his shirt unbuttoned and stuff like that, so he looked like a slob still.
Also, again, I mean, hey, if you're going to be a stakeout in the LA heat all day, you got the windows rolled down. That's just something like, hey, we can't ask these guys to wear suits because, like Utah says at one point, it was a scorcher.
Yeah, but the other two guys were wearing suits though. The other two agents that came in did the overnight shift on it.
They're professionals.
Well, they weren't out doing stakeouts.
Yeah, they were.
Well, they did I don't remember what they were. All I remember them wearing is the blue FBI jackets.
I did like the difference though between the two agents here and then the four bank robbers though. That it was just it was a really cool swap of script.
Again though, like I feel like that's not good police work when Utah is trying to say something and you can't hear them, that you just immediately go in anyways.
Yeah, no, he just took the whole. He took the whole.
I can't hear him, so let me just take it out, get this stupid noise out of my ear, so I can go shoot some dudes.
Yeah.
Also, like at this time period, this is also the time period that we get the recruitment of Johnny Utah by Bodie. He had the party. He explains about the 50-year storm, and then invites him on that night surf, and that's where you get the beforehand. Tyler tells Johnny, he's got that kamikaze look in his eye, and then after they get done surfing, then he's like at peace, and then also I'm trying to figure out again, Rosie, my man, has lighter fluid, stabs it, the lighter fluid's getting all over his hand, and it's on and then he lights it. But he doesn't. He should have been lit on fire too,
dude had his feet in the fire the entire time. Like even like when they're coming back up out of the ocean, like he kicks the logs that are on fire a couple times. Like, yeah, I was sitting there waiting on that dude to get caught on fire.
Rosie's a mechanism, guys.
Hey, Johnny had every right to be worried about Tyler with Rosie having her under the blade, because that dude.
Well, that's why Bodie had him do it.
Yeah, I'll tell you, he's a loose end. He is a loose cannon.
Well, watching Bodie's group surfing, Utah begins to suspect that they are the ex-presidents, noting how close of a group they are and the way one of them moons other surfers in the same manner one of the robbers does. Utah and Pappas stake out a bank, and the ex-presidents appear. While wearing a Reagan mask, Bodie leads Utah on a foot chase through the neighborhood, which ends when Utah's old injury flares up after he jumps into a flood control channel. Despite having a clear shot, the injured Utah allows Bodie to escape.
Let me tell you, this guy just recognized. I don't even think that it was in a similar fashion, but this guy pretty well recognized that guy's butt pretty quickly. Okay,
I don't necessarily think he recognized the butt, as he's already suspecting now, because some of the things that Tyler said, and because they were going surfing. And then he gets in, he's like, oh, I have to go. I just remember. So he's already suspecting, but it's not necessarily the butt that he recognized. That's the butt. It's just the fact that he's suspecting it, and then he sees him do that just like one of the bank robbers does.
His face changed. Tyler even said his face changed whenever he saw the butt.
Sure did.
Dakota's got proof there.
But I did like that they didn't lean too heavily into I really like Bodie, so I don't want it to be him. Like, I mean, he immediately thinks it's them. Okay, well, I'm going to start tailing them. I mean, he's doing his job. And so, like, his turn, his problems with he likes Bodie and stuff is more subtle. Whereas again in the Fast and Furious, the first one, I think it was not as subtle in that. Just to draw some parallels there.
And again, this is where the spirituality of surfing takes over, because at the very end in the ditch or whatever, he's not able to pull the trigger because again, he is getting something out of this relationship and mentally and things like that, out of it. And it's really kind of that's where you get this tension with Utah himself, And I like the Ferris Bueller type of chasing that we had, but again,
man, you have to be in great shape though to be wearing that 100%. Mask.
I know. That's I hyperventilate just doing that, especially after you already been caught on fire. Which again, this is what what should have happened to Rosie. You get the gas nozzle out, you light it on fire, and you use it as a flamethrower, which I thought that was pretty cool. It's realistic. Should everything have blown up, which it does blow up later on. But that I thought that was pretty cool.
Gasoline's not explosive, is it?
Is it gasoline?
Is it gasoline or diesel that's explosive? One of the two is explosive, and the other is flammable. I think diesel is explosive, and gasoline is flammable, and that's the big difference between them. Because we have to talk about this at work every now and then.
You shouldn't put fire around either.
I mean, no, I'm not saying, but it like
Smokey the Bear
bad
says,
is going
"Say no
to
to forest
happen."
fires."
Yeah.
Public service announcement for y'all 10 people: we do not condone lighting gas or diesel on fire.
But we go back to police work that you're not doing a good job at. I mean, they literally park their car and go in the bank, and nobody notices until they come out.
They even talked about how they park a car and leave it running. Utah's right across the street, and he couldn't see an empty car that was still running. I mean, I know he wanted to get back to Pappas with the 2 meatball sandwiches and the lemonade, because that was the most important thing. 2.
While Pappas is reading his Calvin and Hobbes.
Calvin and Hobbes.
Which, granted, I will say classic. Calvin and Hobbes is pretty funny. That was always one of my favorite comics, but I feel like if you're there, you should probably be kind of focusing on what's going on at the bank. But, that's just my opinion.
To be fair, though, is he really going to take Utah serious, though? I know he's taking him serious now to be here on the stakeout, but the last time Utah freaked out,
he's taking him serious because when Utah explains what he's been doing, he's been tailing them, and that they went and packed up all their stuff, and he's like, "Why didn't you come to me? We could have busted them. They're probably long gone now." And then he's like, "No, they're gonna do the bank first." So I mean, he's taking him seriously
because Utah's also taking him serious. That's why they're able to take both of each other seriously, because nobody in the FBI had taken Pappas seriously.
They're 100%. They do the little things like finding the evidence and taking each other seriously. They're just terrible at the big stuff that really matters.
Like their actual jobs. The actual portion of their jobs.
They are good at investigators. They are not good at closers. They're not the closer. They are the legwork.
That's why this movie ends up being Reservoir Dogs by the end of the movie. But at a campfire that night, it is confirmed that Bodie and his gang are the ex-presidents. Tyler discovers Utah's FBI badge and angrily terminates their relationship. Shortly after, Bodie coerces Utah into skydiving with the group. After the jump, Bodie reveals that he knows Utah is an FBI agent and has arranged for his friend Rosie, a non-surfing thug, to hold Tyler hostage to blackmail him into assisting the ex-presidents with their last bank robbery. During the robbery, they decide to infiltrate the vault, causing them to take longer than normal. Grumman is killed when an off-duty police officer and one of the bank security guards attempt to foil the robbery. The robbers kill the officer and security guard, then abandon Utah. Utah is arrested for the robbery and castigated by the FBI director Ben Hart for the murders, but Pappas punches Hart out after an angry altercation and vows to bring in Utah himself.
It's at this point in the movie is where I'm really questioning Utah's intelligence, because these guys know
it gets bad.
Yeah, these guys know that you're an FBI agent now. Everybody knows you're an FBI agent. You meet up with him, you see him, and he's just like, "Hey, you know what? Let's go jump out of a plane." And then they play the whole trick with the whole parachutes in the airplane. Yeah, absolutely not.
Which again, that goes to show the kind of bromance between him and Bodie and the relationship that they have. That even though he suspects, even though it's in this dangerous situation, in that brief moment, him and Brody can still have this spiritual connection. But yeah, I mean, from here on out, all the stuff that Utah does, I mean, at the end of the movie, I'm like, how is this dude not in prison? Like he throws his badge away at the end of the movie, like, I can't do this no more. Like, you shouldn't be doing this anymore anyways. Like, you shouldn't even have that badge still.
This is the first and only FBI investigation you're going to be on.
But no, I mean, it's great scenes though. The skydiving scene is great. It gets real fast. It gets real fast though, because at this point, you know, Bodhi, you know that he's the bank robber, so he is the bad guy already, but you're still just like has that likableness to this character. But when they get in that van, he turns on that video, it turns 180 pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I mentioned earlier, the action sequences that take place in this movie, great. You know, even the skydiving scene, I don't know if this was like CGI'd in or if they did this in like one of those rooms or whatever, but it looks very realistic.
No, the Patrick Swayze part, you could tell that when he was by himself and he was doing the acrobatics, you could, because there was a difference.
He's a certified like skydiver.
Yeah, you could tell the difference between the surfer that they got playing him doing the real surfing stuff, you know, but this was him. But now all the other ones, except for I think one of the bank robbers, I think they showed him to. Everybody else was just up. It was really close, you know, and so they probably did that. To me, 2 parachute scenes kind of wore on me, and that parachute scene, the first one, they probably could have shaved some time off. Like, I don't need to see the 5-man star, you know, in escapades up in the sky. You know, that kind of, to me, that didn't help build the tension. That just, you know, so
I think that's just there for the beautiful cinematography of the skydiving scene.
But again, to me, that still that was too long. The tension was in the plane, which was good. Just like the second time, the tension was all in the planes, and that's what I kind of liked about it. But I did think that it started to drag a little bit there.
Yeah, I do think you could cut this whole scene out and just have like Bodhi show up at his house and just be like, "Hey, here's the video of Tyler." You know,
I'm fine with cutting it shorter, but I don't agree with that because I think you have to show why Utah is at a crossroads. Because you have to show, I mean, that connection that he has with the Bodhi character.
Yeah,
I think that's part of the movie. Now, if you want to cut the skydiving scene shorter, I don't have a problem with that. But cutting it entirely, I think would have hurt the movie a little bit.
And I'm sorry, but how Utah's knee, he shouldn't be walking, because you had the ditch scene, the 2 parachute scenes. You know,
well, they jump into the water.
I mean, yeah, that makes it better. You know, I'm just sorry. His knee should be rearranged. He should look like RoboCop on that one knee right now.
Then we get to the bank robbery scene, which is probably one of my favorite scenes of the movie. I mean, it is tense, and when he tells them to go to the vault, you're like, oh crap.
Yeah, it's about to go down.
Yeah, and then look, I know it's part of the movie, but man, if I'm that cop, how do you do that? I mean, you're just endangering the lives of it. Which, I mean, granted, it's not like he's working this case, so he doesn't know that they don't normally shoot their guns and don't kill anybody. But, God, I mean, especially because 2 of them are not even in the room.
Yeah, how do you start firing when you don't have 2 of them accounted for?
Yeah, I mean that's just a terrible. Like, dude, just sit down, and it's just money. Like, it's not worth people's lives.
Yeah, I mean, because I know these things. I play a cop on TV, so I understand that that's not good police work, you know. And then the rent-a-cop, I'm like him. You're on your own, son.
Be like, bro, no, I ain't doing this.
I'm getting the gun out of my holster and I'm sliding it to Carter. Hit President Carter, please take my gun. I'm no harm. Here, I'm handcuffing myself.
He said, Reagan, this guy has a gun. He's a cop.
Oh no, I mean I understand, but I mean they're also there to protect and serve. You know.
You knew Dakota coming out firing. He's thinking about how I'm going to throw these pins at this guy's jugular and then judo chop him and stuff like that.
Dakota had a battle plan. As soon as he went down to the floor, he's like, "I got this."
Oh,
doesn't every guy do that? Doesn't every guy look at an airplane and be like, you know what, I could land that? You know,
they're not going to listen, but they're going to hear this.
I do not.
The robbers aren't going to hear it, but you're going to hear this. And what's that? That's him ripping his T-shirt and wrapping it around his forehead like John Rambo. Here comes Dakota Lowry. The guns are blazing. You know, he's just throwing pins like they're Chinese throwing stars. You know, he's doing everything. He's like, all right, I got 4 bullets and there's 4 of y'all, and I'm going to put your name on this right now. You're
5.
down.
He shoots Utah twice.
He does shoot him twice. He's trying to say he's an undercover agent. He shoots him twice.
Did Utah put that vest on in the van, right?
Yes.
Okay. Because I was watching it and I was like, wait a minute, did he put that on the van or was he already wearing that? But I thought that he put it on in the van.
Because he put it on differently than everybody else. Everybody else like put it over their heads. One of his sides was already Velcroed, and he kind of. Why do I know stupid stuff like that? Because it's useless information.
It's unfortunate he didn't even see. They didn't even. That's how much they think of Jared Ford. They didn't even.
They get the extra mask.
What perfect way is put him in Gerald Ford and let him get taken right there, or never mind. I won't go there. That he could be JFK or be Lincoln.
I was saying, what's the stop? Well, Pappas and Utah head to the airport where Bodie, Roach, and Nathaniel are about to leave for Mexico. During a shootout, Pappas and Nathaniel are killed and Roach is seriously wounded. With Roach aboard, Bodie forces Utah into the plane at gunpoint. Once airborne and over their intended drop zone, Bodie and Roach put on their parachutes and jump from the plane, leaving Utah to take the blame. With no other parachutes available, Utah jumps from the plane with Bodie's gun and intercepts him in midair. Despite landing safely, Utah's knees gives out again, allowing Bodie to escape. Bodie meets with Rosie, who frees Tyler. With Roach dead from his wounds, the 2 men flee the country and go their separate ways. Again, we're questioning all of Utah's decisions at this point. And I get, love makes you crazy, but Pappas has bailed him out at this point, and they know where they're going. And he's like, we can't arrest them or shoot them. Like, okay.
Charlton Heston, I need your NRA head again on this. You have a guy who's been shot, he's laying down, and you have a freaking shotgun, and you can't put one pellet in that guy's body? Because Pappas gets shot from behind, then he shoots that guy. Then the other guy, which I think is Carter, has a shotgun, and he takes about 3 to 4 shots, doesn't hit Pappas at all. I mean, to me, I thought shotgun spray. So at least you got to be a horrible shotgun shot to miss, because Pappas ain't a small dude either. So am I right?
I mean, it's possible at that close. I mean, assuming that you're shooting a 12 gauge double aught buck, I mean, the spread's probably not going to be that big. I mean,
so you're saying is if he had survived, he would have made one heck of a stormtrooper.
Oh yeah, absolutely he would have. So I mean, it's possible with enough recoil that he would have missed. There is a spray and pray aspect to it, but I don't think he should have missed. I think he should have absolutely hit him a couple times. But
yeah, he should have. His innards should have been spaghetti.
But one thing I really enjoy about this, I talked about how the Bodhi character was so lovable to the point that you don't want him to be the bad guy. All the decisions he made lead you to turning on him pretty quickly, because every decision he made really got all the members of his gang killed.
Yeah.
Realistically,
it
started going to the vault.
Yeah.
And then that got LBJ shot, and then I mean, he really, in all retrospect, should have killed Utah.
Well, man, realistically, I think they on the beach they should have just left.
Yeah, because
that's what everybody wanted to do, was just leave.
Yeah, so that's a good point.
This
so
was
you
a
go
bank
all the way
they
back
didn't
to
scout
that.
out, because they didn't do any scouting on it. They just went. So yeah, And again, he was just trying to get even with Johnny. Is what he was trying to do.
Yeah, I mean that's another good point. I mean, at that point, he's so blinded because, again, he's betrayed at this point because he had this connection with Johnny that, the guys in his gang he loves, but he has a special connection with Johnny. So at this point, he's betrayed to find out that he's a FBI agent. So he's so blinded that he's making all these decisions, and it results in the deaths of literally everyone in his crew. Well, except for Rosie.
So we get to hate Bodie, and I know we're jumping ahead, but in the final scene, did you want him to be arrested, or did you want him to go surf?
I mean, you probably want him to go surf.
I really didn't. I'll be honest with you.
You want justice. Dakota wants justice.
I mean, it's not even for that. It's like, I mean, why does he get to walk away free and none of the other guys do? He got everybody else killed, and then he gets to go. It's not even that he, robbed banks or anything like that, but his whole gang, everybody that did this with him, he basically carried them with him to the end, and then he gets to go ride the big wave and die out and have the freedom.
Go out the way he wanted to go out.
Yeah, he got to go out the way he wanted to, and nobody else did. I mean, that's not really fair.
I think that's a good way of thinking. I mean, I still wanted it to do it just because the movie part of me, like, you want to see him go, but
I think
in a real life thinking, Dakota's thinking is.
So this also gets to the point where, I mean, what does this say about Johnny Utah? Is he done with law enforcement? I mean,
he should be in prison.
He should be in prison, but I mean, because the
fact that he's still working with the FBI a year later is absolutely mind-boggling to me.
So I think it was one of those things. It was more of a. At least this is the way that I like to think of it. It's one of those where they've worked a deal out where if you help them catch it, we'll reduce your sentence, type of thing. I don't know. That's the way I like to think about it.
Well, the Australian police gave him a lot of leeway
they sure did.
Be whatever they want to. And I know, but I guess if you jump out of an airplane in the desert of Mexico and you have your girlfriend who's just wearing a nightgown and you're able to get back to civilization without dying, hey, maybe we need to keep you on the FBI payroll.
Well, hey, we need to go back to this scene anyways. Him jumping out of that airplane without a parachute. That's a crazy scene.
Yeah,
I think at that point it's past the love thing. It's just he has to catch Bodie now.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, yeah. I mean,
again, it's for Tyler.
Yeah. At this point, I mean, he, I think he would like to think that he's not going to kill her, but I mean,
he's changed everything else about him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, you have to. If you love her that much that you're willing to jump out of a plane with no parachute, then you have to go for it.
Be honest, are you jumping out of an airplane for a 1 month
I'm not jumping out of an airplane
with a woman?
With any, I'm not jumping out of an airplane with a parachute. I'm most definitely not jumping out of an airplane without one.
For somebody that I've been stooping for 2 weeks, no. I'm sorry. Sorry about your bad luck. I mean, no. I mean, my wife. Maybe.
Last time I saw you, you were pointing a gun. You were pointing a gun at me. No, I'm not jumping out of the airplane.
Exactly.
Yeah. There it is. Man, he's a thrill seeker, Suggs. He's a thrill seeker.
Well, that is the ultimate thrill. Well, 9 months later, as we say earlier, Utah tracks Bodie to Bells Beach in Victoria, Australia, where a record-breaking storm is producing lethal waves. This is an event Bodie had talked about experiencing called the 50-year storm. Bodie begs Utah to release him so he can ride the once-in-a-lifetime wave, and Utah, knowing Bodie will not come back alive, agrees and bids him farewell. As Bodie surfs to his death, Utah walks away, throwing his FBI badge into the ocean. Yeah, he shouldn't have that FBI badge.
No.
I hope he plans not going back to the United States because he should be in prison too. As much as I love this movie, and I absolutely love this movie, I mean, I look at that every time. I'm like, dude, this dude should be in jail. I don't know how many laws he broke, but he broke a lot of them.
I mean, the amount of people that were killed on his watch just because stupid decisions that he made.
Yes, I mean, yeah. I mean, you got that cop at the. Let's not even talk about the Bodie's gang because they're the criminals, so we'll let that slide. But I mean, he gets the the cop killed at the bank. He gets the rent-a-cop killed, and then he gets his partner killed.
Well, not the man.
Which is terrible. I mean, the Pappas death gets me every time. That's tough.
I mean, let's not to mention how many drugs are still on the street because he screwed up the DEA sting. So he's letting all this meth go on the streets because he wanted to go after the surf Nazis, and again got beat up by a naked woman. Idiot.
All right, guys, that brings us to the end of the movie. We've gone a little long this episode, but anything to add before we move on?
Nah, Nino Brown would have gotten no plane. I can tell you that right now. I love it when you flinch like that. You just cringe.
What are we, 55 episodes in now?
You think you get old at some point.
No.
Dakota, anything you want to add before we move on?
That's what you need to ask.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I love the action sequences in this, man. I think that was the thing that really stood out to me the most in all of this. Even the commitment to the skydiving. I mean, I have been skydiving and it looked very realistic. Kudos to Keanu Reeves for jumping out of an airplane without the eye protection on. Because that's a quick way to lose eyeballs. But I enjoyed it.
Let's move on to the rankings. I guess it's my movie, so I go first. Like I said at the beginning, every time I watch this, I just reminded how much I love this movie. And I know we have a talk about what a cult movie is. And usually, I think me and Ernie are of the thinking that cult movies are not movies that were successful at the box office. And this was fairly successful. But at the same time, it really does feel like this is a cult movie. It's just like one of those movies that was not a huge success, but it's just grown and people love it ever since. But and I'm one of those people. Like I said, I know that Johnny Utah wore number 9, which is like I don't even know how I know that, but I know that from being a fan of this movie. Keanu Reeves, this is his action breakout. He's good in this, but Patrick Swayze is obviously the guy that steals the spotlight. And I'll say it again. I still think this is his best character. Maybe not his best movie, because I know he's had some really great ones, but I do think it's his best character. I'm going to give it... I really wish I could go back and take giving Con Air a 9. I don't know why I did that. It is what it is, though, but I'm going to be more objective this time and give this an 8.75.
For me, here's one of the debates I have between what's a good movie and what's an enjoyable movie. So I enjoyed it. I don't know if it's a great movie. And a lot of it hinges on Keanu Reeves' acting ability. He is very tough to swallow for me. Again, especially when he's with Lori Petty, that just fell short. Again, I like the interactions he had with Gary Busey and Patrick Swayze, even though I think both of those two actors carried a lot of it. But again, it's an enjoyable movie. It's a movie that I don't mind watching again. But I don't think it's necessarily was a great movie, but it's a good movie. I'm going to go with an 8.25.
Yeah, so I like I mentioned a minute ago, I really didn't enjoy this movie. I had a lot of fun with it. I think some of the script could have been done a little bit better, and there really were just a few scenes that could have been, I think, cut shorter. I know we mentioned that with the parachuting scene. The first time they jumped out of the airplane, but there's a couple of the surfing scenes that got a little long for me. That just realistically, I feel like this movie should be probably about an hour 45 minutes maybe. And there was a couple times in the movie where they started, things started taking place and happening. Like when he discovers that it was Bodie and all them that were the actual bank robbers, that were the ex-presidents that. I was like, oh, we got to be getting close to the end of the movie here. And then I paused the movie and I'm like, oh, we're only 45 minutes in. We've still got like another hour and 15 minutes to go, and I'm not complaining about the rest of the movie. I think it did fine, but I think the pacing could have been done just a little bit better on it. like we've all mentioned, I think Swayze and Gary Busey did a great job in this. I really enjoyed both their characters in it. And I really, like I've mentioned several times, I really enjoyed all the action sequences in this. The chase scenes were great in it. I really enjoyed it. That being said, I think I'm gonna give this a 7.5.
All right, that's an 8.75, an 8.25, and a 7.5. That averages out to an 8.16 repeating. Ernie, where does that put us on our rankings list?
That is tied for 26th with 8.17 with Friday Night Lights, Bad Boys, 10 Things I Hate About You, and Days of Thunder. So that is your sweet spot right there.
I think all of those except for 10 Things I Hate About You were my movie picks,
yes,
right?
They are. Like I said, that is your sweet spot right there.
Yeah, just above an 8. I'm good with that. My movies are not blockbuster, but they're what's our 8 to 9 tier? Popcorn worthy.
Popcorn worthy.
Yeah, I know we don't really do the tiers anymore, but okay. All right. So if you'd like to see the full rankings list, you can go to our website. That's podpage.com/classicblockbusters. Podpage.com/classicblockbusters. You can find that full rankings list on there. You can find our individual movie picks and what they've been scored and what we've scored them. You can also find a little bit about us and all the episodes. Of course, we appreciate Ernie for taking care of that. It's one thing that I don't have to do, so it's always nice. If you want to find us on social media, you can find us on Facebook at Blockbusters, a classic movie podcast, and on Twitter /X at BlockbusterPod1. We're streaming every Thursday with a new episode on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube, and we appreciate everybody that's been listening. Our Jaws episode has gotten a lot of listens that we did a few weeks ago, our 50th anniversary, so we appreciate everybody that's listened to that. Next week, it is Dakota's pick. Dakota.
So I had this narrowed down between two different movies, and I had picked these two different movies out before I'd watched Point Break. And funnily enough, those two movies were one of them was Lethal Weapon. So I almost
picked that one last week.
Yeah, so I'm with this movie that we did this week. I'm not going with that one, and I'm going to go with Joe Pesci and Brendan Fraser's movie from 1994 called With Honors.
With Honors.
All right, so that's what we'll be watching next week, With Honors. What's that streaming on?
Tubi.
All right, at least it's not Pluto TV. That's the worst one. All right, so we'll be doing that next week. Guys, anything else to add before we wrap up? We've kind of gone a little long. We've been getting closer to an hour lately. So now we went back to an hour 20 minutes like the old days.
Let's just catch a wave and take it out to the sunset.
Okay, we'll do that.
Bruh.